Welcome to Buzzworthy Business. I'm your host, Chris Budihas. Joining me at the bar is Paul Lajoie with BizBuyPro and Major Harding. Paul, how are you?
Hey, I'm great.
Good to see you. Thanks for coming in. Major,
Chris.
Sir, how you been?
I've been great. How
Good
about
to
you?
see you. I'm doing well. You know, you just come in, meet some awesome people, talk about some things that are very relevant to my life. So, BizBuyPro, what is this organization? How do you do what you do?
Oh my gosh, what is it not?
Yeah, there you go.
We need a couple hours.
Okay.
We need a couple hours. So a little bit of background.
We got 10 minutes, go.
We got a little bit of background. So I'm a CPA from an education, so I'm very kind of nerdy with numbers and things like that.
Yeah.
But 25 years ago, I bought my first small business. I exited my W-2 and leaped in, right?
Yeah.
And bought that first small business. And for the last 25 years, I've accumulated about 15 other small businesses bought,
Wow.
sold, and operated.
Yeah.
And over those last 25 years, I love the space.
Yeah.
And I've made a lot of mistakes.
Yeah.
And I highly recommend everybody to get in, right? If you're
Oh, yeah.
struggling with your W-2, you're a school teacher, you're in the military, or you just hate your job or hate your boss. And this is kind of a blueprint from A to Z from that moment you wake up and like, okay, I need a change in my life.
Yeah.
This is it. This is the blueprint from A to Z on how to value a business, how to find the right business,
That's huge. Yeah.
how to set it up, the legal entities, how to pay yourself correctly, how to minimize taxation, all the legal contracts, you know, all the referrals that you need from insurance brokers, business brokers, transactional attorneys, collection attorneys. I mean, anything you need, this book's going to tell you what to do.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Because I not to brag, I got an MBA in 2005. It's dated because it's funny. So former military, retired last year, created one business, pre-revenue, getting ready to start another business. The good news is both co-founders that I have are lawyers, which is good because I got part of it covered. But you're right. I had some people ask me, how hard is it to start a business in Florida? I said, the answer is easy. I started one in less than 36 hours. Yeah. Running a business is a lot harder. So, like I said,
doing it right.
I asked somebody, I said, what do you know about business financing? Not very much. I said, guess who's a CFO until you hire somebody? I said, you know, who's handling your legal? Who's handling your HR? All this type of stuff. It's all these functions as a small business owner. Somebody's got to cover. So you're basically walking the dog through your own experience and other experiences with other folks. Of these are the questions you may want to ask.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. And as you said, it's as easy it is to start, it's as easy as to fail.
Oh my gosh.
Right, because it's so complex, and really it's the things you don't know that you don't know, right? If that makes sense, because
you don't know until there's crisis,
wearing
right?
80 different hats.
Yeah.
You don't know what you don't know.
Yeah, and you only think you needed to wear 30 hats, but you really need to wear 80, right? And that's kind of what this book is. It's just, man, it's just massive on how complex it is. And we talk about a lot of taxation in here because I am that nerd that we talked about before. We got about 18 training videos on taxation alone.
Oh, wow.
Right, and I spit out that, hey, truly believe one of the ways you become wealthy is by not paying taxes. Of course, legally, you don't pay taxes. It's all about minimizing, right? I mean, you don't realize where all these taxes are coming from. You're like, oh my gosh, and I show you. Well, if I save you $1,000 here and $5,000 there and $10,000 here, and all of a sudden I saved you $100,000 a year in taxes in perpetuity. Yeah. And then it's just self-fulfilling because you buy that business number one, and then I'm showing you how to save $100,000 a year in taxes. Well, that's a down payment for business number two. Yeah. Right, and then all of a sudden after 5 years,
just kind of rolls.
You own 10 businesses. Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's huge. Major, you were a business owner back in the day.
Back in the day, it's kind of nice to be on the other side.
Could you use something like that?
Oh, for sure. We talked about it earlier. It's a blueprint on how to do it. I mean, like being in the construction business, you start with a blueprint. You got to have a good foundation to build off of. Because if you don't have a good foundation, everything else is crap. You know, and you're going to end up, you know, with trouble. So,
without a doubt.
So you just got to start right. You got to be smart and do it the right way. And your book comes out next month, correct?
July 3rd it drops.
Yeah.
July 3rd.
Yeah.
So a couple things here to unpack. So the book, what was the inspiration to write the book? Was it to educate others? Was it, hey, I want to pass on this knowledge?
Well, it's kind of just, it is.
Yeah.
It's kind of both, right?
Yeah.
But some friends and family started coming to me about 3 or 4 years ago, and I've been kind of helping people on the side. And man, it was just mistake after mistake after mistake after mistake that they were making. And as you said, it's you got to build that foundation. If the foundation is is crappy, then the walls are going to fall down.
Right.
So you got to set this up correctly, and that's kind of the foundation of the book, if I want to say that again.
Yeah.
You got to set it up correctly, and I'll give you an example, right? So I have a buddy call me and like, I already set up my legal entity. What'd you use? Well, I set up an LLC. Okay. It's super simple. Anybody can do it. It takes 5 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Which boxes did you click?
Yeah.
Oh, you click that you're a single member LLC. Your walls are going to fall down.
Yeah.
Right? So you are a disregarded entity in the eyes of the IRS, if we want to talk nerdy for a second, right?
Yeah.
And what that means is you will, on 100% of your income, will pay maximum taxation forever because you clicked the wrong box.
That's so huge.
I teach you that stuff here. Right?
That is huge.
And that's a 2-minute conversation. So you already learned right there what not to do when setting up your legal entity.
Yeah.
Right?
Wow.
And I got hundreds and hundreds of examples of things like that. You just don't even think about what you're doing, and you've already made a mistake, and it's hard to recover from it.
Yeah. And then you alluded to earlier, so videos. You got this video, it sounds like a sequential, or you can watch them not sequential.
Right.
Videos that are instructional, to the point, but not very long, about different things they need to consider as part of being a business owner.
Right. We got 70 training videos
70
on every single topic you can think about.
Okay.
Right? Talking about the emotions of buying a business, highly emotional. The emotions of selling a business.
Yeah.
Right? So when you're negotiating with that seller, you got to understand it's highly emotional for them.
Yeah.
And we talk about taxation. We talk about how to set up your legal entity and who is now your new influence and things like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, super simple, because at the end of the day, all I really want you to do, I don't need you to become a subject matter expert on taxation or legal entity creation or anything like that. I need you to just have a working knowledge. So when you hire a CPA or an attorney to do that work for you, you can ask them intelligent questions, because most people won't do anything unless you instruct them to do so.
Oh,
That's true.
So here it is. It's just 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Just to get you thinking about, well, somebody once told me about how to set up the legal entity correctly, and I don't want to be a single member LLC because I'm not so sure remember exactly what it was, but I know I don't want to be a single member LLC. And your CPA is like, oh yeah.
Well, so if the light bulb goes off,
Exactly.
when that question comes up.
Oh yeah.
Exactly.
It's almost like, because they're short and concise to their point. One, you got their attention. You learn something at the end of that 15 minutes, and it becomes a sticky subject in your brain where you're like, you just said like, oh, I remember something about that. So I didn't ask that question. So I totally got, when I saw the name of the book, the exit plan, I said, oh, it's about exiting your business. That's not what it's about.
No.
So why did you name it the exit plan?
Well, it's because it is difficult to exit your familiar life, that steady paycheck, those benefits. So it's exiting
the
your
comfort zone.
Exiting your W-2 life,
Right.
Excellent. You're a school teacher for 10 years. Exiting that career, or you're coming out of the military and exiting that, and just you're diving into the deep end here, right? Which is super scary. But in essence, if you read this book and join our community, I mean, we're there. We're going to hold your hand through the entire process.
Yeah. That's important too, right? It's like
having that support.
That support. You got to have that support. They have that backbone, because, I've read a lot of books, but the reality of it is, if you got somebody you can bounce off a community of interest that want to see your success, that's huge.
Oh yeah.
So
without a doubt.
That's great. So Paul, thanks for coming in the bar. How do folks find you, and how they find BizBuyPros?
Oh man, website BizBuyPro.com. Right
there you go.
So all our contact information's on the website.
Okay.
Give us a ring, without a doubt.
Absolutely. What we're going to do is we're going to hang your contact information in our show notes. We're going to encourage people to go look at BizBuyPros, and then also be on the lookout for your book. I imagine Amazon will carry it coming 3 July, right before the 4th of July.
July
so
3rd.
A big bang. Well, thanks for coming in. Cheers.
Right, cheers. Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Cheers.
Hey, folks, take a look at our show notes. Take a look at Paul. We'll connect with him on LinkedIn. Take a look at BizBuyPros. And see what they're doing. Man, if you're a small business owner, and I am, it's exciting, but it is scary. And you probably need to go in with your eyes wide open, and also be prepared to put those calories in, because it is rewarding, but it's not going to come easy. But you can do it in a very efficient way if you got the right mentors and you got the right information. See you in our next segment. Love and gratitude.